Righty. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Salutations, y'all. Welcome to episode 26 of Core Office Hours. Back in business. Bienvenidos. Hola. Pele. Moani. Welcome from wherever you are in the world to right here where you're hanging with us. As we always like to say, connection is a currency here at the system. We're a community and we're driven by community, and we're definitely community first. So we welcome you and grateful that you're with us today. As always, we ask for you to like, subscribe, and comment for anything that really was meaningful for you in this session. We'd love to hear about it. So what is the system? Our mission is to activate creative leaders globally to tackle society's biggest challenges through design. Design, community, and blockchain technology will change the future. So let's talk a little bit about today's agenda. We're going to do our drop-in. This is how we like to kick off every session. So we're going to do that for about 15 minutes. Then we're going to dive into today's case study. So we're going to talk about a project that we have recently undertaken, music.com. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we are going to open up today's session for Q&As. We will end with the upload, and then we'll end as we always do with music and no cookies. So today's session is brought to you by Core Discovery, the step-by-step design strategy framework. Really powerful in helping apply your understandings around community, around brand, around your users, and being able to leverage it into whatever the output might be. Core is powerful through alignment. So it allows for you to understand your brand and the essence of who you are, your customer needs, and what their ultimate goals are for your business. The challenge has always been finding alignment and strategy, and Core allows for you to do that. So let's dive into today's drop-in. Start with name, location, what do you do? And what is one thing that you're grateful for today? And I'll model that for you. My name is Keone. I'm located in Little Muggy, downtown Los Angeles. What do? I am a Web3 strategist focusing on NFTs and brand identity. What is one thing that I'm grateful for today? I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for health. But I think most importantly, I'm grateful for this community and the friends and everyone here that showed up. And that is my drop-in. I will open up the floor for anyone that would like to step on the stage. Maybe Jose, you want to take this next?
Yeah, and we can pick someone that can go next so that we can move it along. Jose Caballer, Los Angeles, downtown. It is a little muggy. What do I do? Community builder, educator. I am a designer. First and foremost, I am a designer. What is the one thing I'm grateful for today? I was thinking about this morning, and I am very grateful for community. I am very grateful for you, Keone. I am very grateful for Pat, who has gotten me through the last few months and navigated all the things, challenges and otherwise, and with a big smile and happiness. Iwana for her flexibility and adaptability and amazing design team talent and like just wisdom, and all of you without leaving anybody out. Thank you. Very grateful. And I will choose Andrea.
Hi, so happy to be back, finally. My name is Andrea, also known as Ava in the digital world. I'm right now in Panama City, and it's also rainy, humid, but it's fine. It's in my mood right now. What do? I'm an artist, I'm a strategist, and I'm a problem solver, I think, overall. And what is one thing I'm grateful for? I'm really grateful for this space, this type of spaces. yeah, I've been like kind of down lately, so it's like nice to, kind of like come back and absorb everyone's good vibes, and hopefully I can do the same later on for someone.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Ava. Glad to see you again. Would anyone else like to drop in?
I'll go ahead. So I feel really grateful to have been able to have learned so much from everybody and being involved in all these great projects. I think it's such a great thing that we've been able to combine a global community and work from home, something I've never experienced in my life. So I'm really grateful for that. How about Pape? Have you gone?
Thank you, Jersey. Hello, everyone. I'm Pape. I'm based in Panama City and I'm an artist. I specialize in doing core magic. I do core magic. I'm a core magician. I can proudly say that. I've been creating stories, finding alignment, and building my brand and brands for others for already now 2 years. But the brand that the identity, because when we talk about brand, we're talking about identity. Building my own identity and feeling proud of it and walking my path unapologetically, it's something I'm super proud of. And yeah, it's rainy. It's been a hard week, tough 6 months. I've also been feeling low this week, but I'm actually grateful for feeling low because it's when I focus more, it's when I try to find more clarity and listen to myself. So I'm actually grateful for the tough times. It's where I learned the most. So yeah, that's me. I'm Papa and I'm complete. And I would love to listen to the amazing Patricia. Let's bring some light to the room.
Thanks, Pape. Hi, I'm Patricia Maliksi. I'm from Manila, Philippines. What I do, I'm a brand strategist and recently a flow facilitator as project navigator for Jose. And what is the one thing I'm grateful for today? Same with everyone. This week has been really rough. And when you all came here with your energy and just seeing everyone pop up on the screen today, it really energizes me, and like, it's so nice to be back with you and to see each and every one of you. So I'm really grateful for that. Who wants to go next? Ioana?
Let's pick someone, yeah.
Thank you, darling. I'm Ioana Balcan from Brașov, Romania, and I'm a strategist and creative, and I catalyze businesses from Web2 or Web3, doesn't matter. I'm narrowing it down to impact DAOs mostly lately. And today I'm very grateful for my team because the way they help me with the conceptual part of the visual foundation and always help me. It helps me, pitch and to talk to clients and to solve their problems and to take care of their needs. And yesterday I was very grateful because we were talking just about this project that is going to be presented today. And I was saying, even there were some hardships in the project, I am extremely grateful that I met a lot of people and captains from within the system that I learned a lot of things from. It's going to be extremely valuable in the future on how the system works in teams and hires and takes on projects. And the one thing that I'm most grateful is for the relationship building with, Jose, Jersey, Keone, Patricia, Mary, Mauro, Josh, Roberto. There were so many people involved. And I picked Mauro because I see he's here today.
Thank you, Ioana. It's been a long time. Good to be back. My name is Mauro Medina. I'm based in Ensenada in Mexico, and I'm a creative director. One thing I'm grateful for a lot of things. Lately, I think I'm grateful for my family, for all the great work opportunities I've had and my team, and just getting to have all of you here. I'm gonna call on. I'm gonna call on Bobby.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Bobby Robinson. Here located in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm a web strategist. Been doing web for almost 20 plus years. I am grateful for the system community, Jose, Keone, Patricia, Pape, Maru, every one of you. You know, I kind of been missing everybody and wanting to see what's going on. I'm also grateful for health and my children. I want to pick, let me pick Clifford.
Hello, everyone. This is Cliff Washington from upstate New York, calling in from upstate New York. And I'm a brand strategist and creative consultant. And I am feeling grateful for opportunity and family. I'm also grateful for I'm grateful for the motivation and inspiration that I've been given from this community to help me be my best self within not just my career, but within relationships as well, and the power to be more vulnerable. I'm very much grateful for that I've taken from this community. So let me see. Has Daniel gone yet? Daniel Booster?
Nope.
Hi, I'm Daniel Brewster. I'm here in Venice, California, and a little overcast. And I'm glad to reconnect with Jose and glad to see all your guys' faces. And hope that we have a good session today. Oh, and I don't know who to pick next, Jose, help me.
Let's pick, let's say, Scola. And if you can't go, just put it in the chat.
This is Scala calling in from Louisiana. How y'all doing?
What's up, brother?
What's going on? It's been a minute. Just grateful to be back in the circle. What's up, Pat? What's up, Jose, Keone? How y'all doing? Just happy to be back in the circle, man. For those that don't know me, the first time, I'm a brand strategist out of Louisiana, the Cajun country. So just happy to be here. Let me see who I can call. I'm actually on the move, guys. So who I can call?
Or Ferdine?
Ferdinand, yeah, I could go. Yep. Thank you.
Let's do it. Go Ferdinand.
Yep. So my whole name would be Ferdinand. You can call me Ferdy or Ferds. I think I declined earlier about the video and such, so you can see me because I was eating. But yeah, my webcam is on, so I'm not sure if I'm sharing right now. But yeah, location is same as Patricia. That would be Philippines, Manila, and currently it is raining. Hey, what's up? And then what I do is similar to Bobby, so that's gonna be around websites and apps as well. So my I think the title would be around product designer, but basically it's a designer. And today I am grateful for friends or community, so that's gonna be same as Jose, because I just came off like 2 hours ago from a Discord party anniversary, because I think it's the founding today, and then some 2-3 friends checking in on me while we share what we've been eating today. So that's it. Thank you. Jersey, you're done?
Jersey, yeah, and put
Yes,
your link
I've already
on the
gone.
website for. I would love to see your work.
Sorry, were you saying that for me or for
No,
Fende?
for her. Yeah, for Ferdinand.
Ferdy. Yeah.
Work?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sharing what?
Oh no, your website or links or Behance.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have a website yet, but thank you for asking.
You showed the work in the system if you're in the Discord. Are you in our Discord, Ferdy?
Oh, no. I follow Jose at Twitter. That's why I know about the event. But yeah, I don't know any other channels. So,
Yeah, we'll put the Discord in the chat.
Thank you.
We have Marlene, Marcio, Alejandra, Jinder, Rafael, and Andrea.
Alvaro Mendez.
And Alvaro, yeah.
And if you don't feel like stepping on the mic, totally cool. Just go ahead and drop it into the chat.
Let's do Rafael.
Yeah, hello, Jose. Yeah, it's Rafael. Basically, I help people, and I usually attach myself to projects that I can't really publicize. And it sounds scripted, and that's why I rather not talk about it. But at the moment, I'm helping a art space and a few people in the music business. So there's that. But yeah, I'm really shy with it, so I apologize for being shy today. But I'm here and present. Hopefully, you guys, help me out because
all good,
help.
brother.
You're all good, brother.
Yeah. Grateful that you're here, man.
And I'm grateful for Jose's superpower, which is community. So that's that.
Awesome. Thank you for the drop in, and let's keep it moving. So really excited to have everyone here, voices that we haven't heard in a while, new voices. Yeah, we're really starting to ramp up and kick this thing off. And now we're going to dive into our case study. So Jose, talk to us a little bit about this case study for today.
Yeah, wanted to share, this is all work in progress, and we've been sharing some of it in some sessions that we've done. Oh, did Amit go? Yeah, he did. I'll read his drop in, Bobby. He put it into the chat. Hello, everyone. I am Amit Shetty, a UX designer based out of Hyderabad, India. Today, I'm grateful to this community for the energy and inspiration that everyone brings. There you go. So music.com, first of all, every week that we do this is every 2 weeks. The next session is on the 17th. We'll do a case study. I was talking to Pape about showcasing the core work that he did for his own brand for the 17th. So we'll work together to set that up. I'm really excited. I got to see it yesterday, and the journey is exciting. So music.com is an existing platform. It's a client that I had in the past at my agency, The Group. And when we made the pivot to Web3 in October of last year, they reached out and said that they were working on a NFT platform and needed some help support with the design. So we took this as an opportunity to do it as a community project and to test a lot of the work that we've been doing together. And I'm just going to go through it fairly quickly for everyone so that we can get to Q&A and to questions. So if that's okay with you guys, and then you can ask me questions and I can go back and respond to them. So I'll start with the brand attributes, mission, and vision. On this project, we chose to do, instead of just the core attributes, we chose to do values, vision, mission, and the core attributes all in one, which was an experiment. And Mary facilitated one part, Keone facilitated the other one, and I facilitated the core attributes. And we did it in Mural, and we used the voting mechanism in Mural, which is super cool, to get the winners: nurturing, passionate, wisdom, empowering, growth, connectivity. But in addition to that, we worked on mission and vision, which later went into the different decks and the different things that they were doing, but also in writing copy and figuring out what the positioning was. There's a lot of things that I'm not going to share that we did in addition to that, but the highlights, one is that in doing the user profiles, we had data from a user focus group, or it was interviews. We did user interviews. We interviewed about 8 musicians, artists, and fans. And with that data, we then had we created the user profile. We created the user profiles together. So like each team member, the captains, like put what their point of view was on a mural, async, and then we summarized those, and Mary put them into individual user profiles: mid-career artists, up-and-coming artist, avid fan, and the collector, which were all of the people in the model of this NFT platform. And of course, then putting them into user journeys and tagging them relevant to what component was needed, onboarding for the product, for partnerships, and for their token. Design and Stylescapes. This was a very collaborative process. We had a lot of really fun jam sessions in Mural, and Mauro, Ioana, and her team did just an amazing job. Ioana, its leadership in taking on the design, for me, was a revelation. So that was a really good thing. And you mentioned, Ioana, how the relationships were super important. Stylescapes, for slightly different Stylescapes, having the brand attributes here, wise, connected, empathetic, and mood boards and Stylescapes. So the client reviewed both and gave their feedback on both, and the community also gave their feedback. And then we did the second one, Revolutionary, very participatory, multiple designers, multiple people. Mauro had a lot of influence on this direction. And this was the direction that was chosen. So from that, creating the ecosystem, since it wasn't, the project had three parts. It was the improvement of the UX experience for the NFT platform. It had been designed previously. In addition to that, helping get the community kind of started. But education and onboarding was a real big one. And Jersey and Keone directed a really amazing WTF as an NFT video. And we did 3 onboarding sessions for the client. A lot of the collaboration was happening, and we created a lot of the components in Google Docs or in Figma, so that it was very shareable. Going into the user experience, the design language applied to the site, to WTFs and NFT. One interesting story, and I won't tell it, was about choosing the font system, which is super fun. About Paige, again, also super fun. Big ups to Ioana and her team. This was for fun, and it did give me a lot of joy to see it, which is like, what would merch look like? There's much more. It's such a big project, but what I'm going to do is just open it up to Ioana or Jersey or anyone who worked on the project, and like, what are any takeaways or lessons from that? Ioana.
We were part of the product design group, but as Jose said, we kind of collaborated on multiple fields, meaning the video, merch design, and some of the visual components, and choosing the fonts as well. Yeah. And what I loved, and I also know, and you learn a lot from, is how to work to co-create. So I've participated in, when the Stylescapes were put together. It's a common effort. We just met for 3 hours, and all the designers and captains were there. We had some, pointers and creative direction from the captains, and we started going nuts with research and testing and putting stuff together. Not gonna lie, it's been a troublesome on the part of UI UX, because we inherited the design. So what we did with Jose is we took a surgical approach on some functional improvements, and also mimicking what was there before, but in a way that it looks much more better in terms of functionality and visibility and readability. I really don't know what to say.
That's a really good highlight. So one question that I got asked recently, Ioana, was how did the user profiles and how did the attributes and all those things affect the process and affect the outcome? And it was hard to answer that question, because it was the need to update the look from what was previous to became a priority, just so that I made the choice or the decision that it needed to be baseline, and that instead of focusing on a lot of new features and functionality, that we would focus on, like, you know, fixing what was there. So like, this is the previous design, and then, you know, we cleaned it up, made the NFTs the right format, etc. The suggestions on how to integrate for the artist profile, different components, but you know, your team, Ioana, did. So again, so here's the previous and then the improvement. So just really surgical and making sure that all the dots were crossed and the I's were done, and just bringing it up to date a little bit. But the work collaboratively in Figma and working with your team, and, you know, getting to do reviews, learning more about you and your capacity, just, it gave me such an amazing view of team capacity, and I'm very grateful for that.
So, yeah, it did influence. So even the choosing the font influenced, because in the mood boards for Revolutionary, which was the direction they went with, you gotta understand that over the course of almost 2 months, we kind of saw each other daily with the actual music team. And there was a weekly with the developers as well. So you start understanding what matters to them, what they need, and what their users need, because that was so regular, and you get to really hear and see how you can embed it into design to translate it. So for example, let's take the font, because there are people from Gen X to Gen Z. We picked Helvetica, the family of font from Helvetica that was invented in 86, the specific one, because it was a perfect companion for all the biggest highlights in music history, and they kept you know, insisting on that and talking about that. So we were thinking, what font is gonna work? And we also had another option, but it only had capital letters, so, you know, we had to go with Helvetica. And you wouldn't know it if you don't know the font. You wouldn't know that it's capable of this. And
it was a cut of Helvetica that had a lot of
and Alina from Coldcat used Helvetica as an opportunity to make it when you read it, so it's you read it like it sounds, like it's synesthetic. So that's why it looks like this, wonky and punk, and, you know, not in a box, so that it's diverse and inclusive of everyone that comes in as a musician, either if they're, you know, oldies but goldies, or very fresh up and coming musicians.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. So and part of it is understanding also the culture of the client, and how to translate that. I'm gonna switch us back and wrap that up and go into our core QA. If anybody wants to add anything else or ask questions, and then we'll move on.
How long did the project take?
It's supposed to end in April. It was a 3-month project with 6 sprints, and we paused in sprint 5, or at the end of sprint 4 or 5, to we needed to pause. And behind the scenes, a few of us have been still working on supporting, but we're gonna pick it back up at some point. But it's a long project, and it's been a long commitment. But I think, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, thank you for that, Bobby. Ava, what's up?
First of all, so cool.
Music.com, the current site is there is a URL to the NFT platform. I'm not gonna share it here yet, but there is it's a separate link. We're working right now to link the main music.com to the new platform. But go ahead, Ava.
Yeah.
I just want to be part of it. I really like it. Like, I feel like I'm interested, even if I don't know what is going on. Like, I'm like, this looks cool. Like, I want to learn more. I want to find out. That was just like a compliment. And I really love the colors. I got really excited, sorry. And my question is, like, how do you, like, what was like the first step to get all of it started? Because like, I feel like right now, that's my main issue. I'm always like, I have so many ideas, so many things to do, but like, how do you guys like, hey, this was the first thing that we did? Good question.
So how do we set, like, what were the exercises? And well, we looked at the outcome, so that's important. So understanding what the outcome was, understanding like what our experience was with a lot of the exercises. Core is of course fundamental in this, right? Because alignment is so key. And I think something to keep in mind with this project is this is a project that is transitioning from a Web 2 oriented perspective into Web 3. And there is a nuance between that, right? We've talked here about the difference between, or the opportunity for headless brands and what the future of branding and marketing looks like. And it's less about it being like one very specific designed, you know, hood ornament, so to speak. And it's more about a vibe and a feeling. So how can we expand this personality to be reflective in multiple different ways and it still feel true and authentic to the brand? So that was a challenge that we had to take into consideration. And so this is why you see a lot of the exercise focused on, well, who are our users and what are their experiences and what's going on in their life and what's their journey? And then using those insights to then lead, okay, what are the business needs, right? We've been following a lot of those things. Some of them have to do with functionality. So we have to, as Ivana spoke about, prioritize how we address some of the features. Some of it is also about the fact that we're going to be onboarding this entirely new community. So how can we set this overall feeling and vibe, you know, so that it's welcome and can create belonging? You know, Ava, your response was like, oh my God, this looks so cool. I want to get involved, right? Like that was all a big part of that. And then we have a lot of experts on the team, you know, between Jose, you know, we had Mary, we had myself, you know, we had a lot of feedback. And so we've had experience leveraging these kinds of exercises to deliver that kind of output. And Jose, you're muted.
Yeah.
How do you want to?
Before people jumped in, Jose and Patricia were a big part of planning, and then we actually did an agile planning session. It takes about 2 hours, even 2 hours and a half. So meaning you go from, you know, you set up a calendar, you do the definition of done, you assign people to specific tasks, and people say this is going to take this much time. And there's like layers of complexities, things that take 1 day, things that take 2 days, things that take 1 week. It's all voted on and decided on with the team. So this is not taken lightly, agile planning. It's very effective. I've also done it in a Web3 setting, and it's one of the very first things that helps people put things into perspective and to see if they actually can meet the goals. It's
and
kind
to
of
add to
like
that,
a
Oana,
reality
like,
check. Yeah.
so I was working with Jose, if I may, I was working with Jose with the agile part and the project management part, and it was a pretty huge project with a lot of stakeholders, a lot of time zones, because we have a team in Europe, we have a team in Asia, we have a team in America. So it's the agile planning was really helpful because it helped us to adjust. First of all, Jose and I did the project planning ahead. Like they've already planned the 6 sprints in advance and what the outcomes are. But of course, it's going to, and what Keone said with the outcomes, it's going to adjust. And with a sprint every 2 weeks, what we needed to hit, also being able to see what's the team's capacity, and that's what we learned. So mainly the thing here is team coordination and managing client expectations. Of course, we need to know if we're able to hit that along with the project objective. So yeah, the agile method and planning was really helpful in making this all happen.
Hopefully that answers your question. I mean, for me, prioritizing is hard. It's very difficult. So I really depended on Agile for the project. It really was helpful. Later we switched a bit doing it more defined, like testing a bounty system. But for your personal life or for your own project and careers, I think my go-to has always been working with other people in community. As I say, my ADD is too powerful to, but I've been learning a lot, and especially from this project really was extremely transformative for me in terms of both my role and my and what I do and can do and what I'm good at, etc. So it's all projects are a learning, lesson. It's as I say, this is always is an experiment. So flow is something that we've been testing, developing, etc. In terms of agile practices. Some of the practices we use here, like drop-ins and uploads and retros, but the landscape is really changing with remote work and with collaborative work, and it's bigger conversation that I'd like to support, because the thing that I hear most, beyond core is like, how do you deliver, execute, stay focused, stay prioritized, stay motivated, etc. It's always a big question. But let's jump into core QA, and you can still ask questions about project, but the case studies really to motivate us to have discussions. I'm looking forward to seeing other people's case studies. There's multiple case studies that we want to showcase as we do the summer core office hours, including yours if you have any that you would like to share. So core QA, the sharing rules.
Yeah. We've got one more question from Cliff.
Please.
Yeah. We'll make sure we get you, Cliff.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to ask Ioana, Jose, I think you mentioned a little bit earlier in the convo over the case study that there were some challenges throughout the project, and if you could talk about those challenges as whatever you can share that may not be too confidential, but yeah, if you could share some challenges that you had through the project.
I'll share the primary ones. For me, the intention for the project was to test, it was an experiment, and it was to test our capacity to do projects in community. And it was a leap and a jump because, we've done it in circles, we've done it in different things. Now here's a client project, a quest, and it was a test of how do we do quests. So there was a lot of pre-planning, and one challenge in the pre-planning was I tried my best to do it collaboratively, but maybe it wasn't enough, and maybe I should have done less planning and more like collaboration with the captains that were doing the project and the work. Some of the primary challenges were not out of our control. They were not under our control. They were on the client side, their team capacity and their where they're at as a startup. Those things are difficult, and they're business challenges that you have to address and deal with. But I think at the end of the day, if you look at tactical challenges as it relates to core or as it relates to the work itself, I would give us a pretty high grade at the process and at delivering. The big lesson, process is great. These frameworks help drive things. There's still leadership and people to drive it and to bring it together and to make executive decisions. The second thing that I don't know how to impart to the community, other than through doing it together and examples. But I'm learning right now, and it's a summary and maybe the big takeaway, that the feedback mechanisms and the interpersonal and the how to create the container for success on a project is an art form, because the majority of projects are always going to be messy. I will say, I'm going to venture 100% of projects have challenges, right? And taking the helm and going through it and navigating it, there's something that I think that with the different frameworks, and somebody asked about flow, and Keone and I have been working this week and last week on thinking through a little bit more what the first framework FIRE could be, to me, there needs to be a bridge between everything that we work together that is around what we do here in these calls, which is, you know, community and connection and knowing each other's stories, knowing each other's strengths and our weaknesses, and being able to have like just really honest conversations through the process. So I don't know where that Cliff, where we can bridge that or build tools for that, other than what we've done so far, which is experiment and like do things in community. And you know, like Pape, in my conversation with Pape this week, you know, it's like, it's a trip, you know, life is a trip. You're in a reactionary kind of container of all these individual kind of souls like interacting and dancing together. So it's the journey is really the lesson almost, and I'll complete there, but I don't know if that answers your question on challenges.
No, that was good. That was good. Thank you.
Would you still like to hear my part, Clifford?
Yes, absolutely.
So initially we started with a different product captain, and then Jose had to step in because life happens, and also within the project, people left and new people came in, and you have to adapt your workload and your energy and your bandwidth again with every new sprint. And what had happened, for example, when the captain left, we had to reevaluate what the definition of done is on the UI UX side of things. And then so that was the main challenge. And the other ones, exactly like Jose said, there were on the client side. What I feel is that we did get a lot of information out of it, and I'm pretty sure next time we're gonna do better so that it's more beneficial for everyone involved. But I did get the sense that it's healthier to put in boundaries and be a lot more firmer within, you know, when it comes to payments and contracts. So a bit more exact on that, because some of the bits were a bit abstract, and then we had to go back and say, but this is what we actually promised, or this is what we're actually going to deliver. Yeah,
and we switched from sprint based to bounties for the team.
Yeah,
even though the experiment to me, and for me to I won't say more. You said it perfectly.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to make this point, and then I'll bring up Ginder and then Cliff. You know, this is very much an experiment into like what is Web3 and working in Web3 and what is that experience like. We tried approaching this with some of the typical ways that we would approach projects in typical strategic Web2 format. And what we realized is some of those tactics and philosophies that we would typically use in any other project didn't really fit for the kind of work that we were doing and for the kind of collaboration that we were using. And so this project is very unique in that, you know, as Jose said, it was a jump and a leap. There was huge transitions, both from, you know, helping this company understand that working in Web 2 and working in Web 3 is very nuanced, and it is different. For us, you know, the way we facilitated this project and our approach and the way that we had typically worked in the past to what we actually needed to deliver to drive the impact and you know, the goals for the client and to help them reach that. And then for ourselves, you know, kind of understanding and learning like, okay, hey, you know what, these are some limitations or challenges that we have, and we have to evolve from them. So yeah, it was a transition on multiple fronts. And Ginder, welcome to the stage.
Hi, Keone. Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. This is really amazing. It's really cool, and just to see like what you can do from transitioning from Web 2 to Web 3 and empowering artists. This is amazing. I've got some friends in a band called the Sex Patels. So they're doing a free gig on Sunday. So I'll definitely recommend music.com. My question is, I guess, is like transitioning from Web 2 to 3, is it heavily like dependent on having a team of developers as well? Or can it be just a learning tool where you are kind of, well, I'm still, I still don't understand the concept, and like registering for an NFT is different. There's different terms, and like currency, the old currency has got different names. So I still need like a dummy's guide to, a blockchain and NFTs. All of that makes a difference. And it just got me thinking, how much is it heavily dependent on developers to have that infrastructure, or is it more of it on the kind of like guiding people through the kind of like this new universe and the potential of it? Because I guess like even my brother would be interested in his photography being on the blockchain, or having it available as an NFT.
Yeah, so that is the reason why I created the NFT lab, and our first, for like the crypto curious, which is Enter the Metaverse. I do recommend folks sort of like diving into Web3 to kind of get an understanding of how the experience is, right? The requirement of wallets and, purchasing tokens and swapping tokens, and the access and experiences that come with ownership in the Web3 space. So a lot of your questions are like just on a fundamental level, like how does one experience Web3, and how do NFTs and tokens and DAOs fit into that space? So that's the first challenge, and we can definitely talk about that after this session. I'd love to help you, kind of get caught up. Secondly, do you need very specific developers? Yeah, there are very specific languages in the Web3 space. I think I saw it in the chat earlier. Solidity is one of the primary languages, and there's others as well, particularly depending on what chain you're on. And then it can go further into like, what are the experiences that you're trying to deliver on the space, right? Is this specific to a token or a token gated experience? Is this an NFT, or is there particular features and utilities that is associated with the NFT, right? Is this more of like a DAO oriented element, right? And there's gamification and features, right? The space can get very, very complex. Smart contracts as well. So, for us on this project, we had a development partner, and that made things very easy for us. We focused on the experience, we focused on the design, we focused on the front end, and then we partnered with that development agency. And, that situation allowed for us to focus on, the upfront needs, and then they focused on the technical needs. But I hope that solves and provides clarity for you, Ginder.
That's awesome. Thanks, Keone.
You got it. Cliff.
Let me put my hand down. I just like kept my hand down. So.
All good, brother.
It's interesting that completely
go
new
ahead.
jobs are being generated because of Web3. Like maybe a traditional coder wants to learn Solidity. Maybe a copyright and IP lawyer wants to learn Web3 copyright and IP, things like that. It's very interesting. And one thing to note, most of the designs were done in Figma, because to me it feels like it's very Web3 because it allows for multiple participants to join. And so you wouldn't believe it, but in 3 months that they had made significant updates as we were working. So the tech was, evolving as we were working with it.
I do actually have one question just popped in my head. I'm wondering if anybody here has worked in the healthcare space. I'm going to be doing a project, working with some people soon within the healthcare space through an agency.
Mm.
So is that a general question about working in the healthcare space, or is there a specific question?
Yes, just generally, I'll be coming in on the product design side.
Is it for an application, or is it for a marketing kind of function?
Marketing is a healthcare agency. Within marketing, more specifically, the experience design department, which is fairly new within the company.
One of the things that vertical expertise, right? Like as a creative or as a strategist, as a designer, you know, we knowing about a particular industry sector really helps our confidence, right, in how we approach, especially when we're doing strategy. One of the things that I've always done since, you know, when you're running a design consultancy, you're switching a lot between industries. There's the approach of focusing on specific industry sectors. Then there's the approach of just focusing on leads. But to answer your question, one of the things that I usually do is I before the project, before the first meetings, is I go online and familiarize myself. In the past, back in the days when paper was actually a thing, I would, you know, I always had a subscription of the Wall Street Journal that I would look at, or now I like to pick up Bloomberg. Bloomberg is just amazing. And they do have sectors, and you can go into healthcare and see what the latest news are, et cetera, just so that you're somewhat familiar with the language and with the issues. I do know that in healthcare, or from the general, some of the projects, I haven't done a lot of projects in the sector, but from understanding that there are a lot of regulations, for example, One Drop, which I did in 2016, 15, 16, they were in the healthcare space. It was a diabetes application. So they're or a diabetes product. So there are a lot of things around it. So the competitive audit becomes super important when you look at the vertical competitors to the specific company you're working for. You'll see kind of how each of them is positioned and what they do. You will look at language around HIPAA regulations, et cetera, that what you can say and not say. So just getting familiar with it and diving in and channeling the understanding of what that is, so of the sector. So those are my thoughts for that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of her name. She was in our community for a while, and she focused specifically on the healthcare space. Ping me on LinkedIn, and I'll see if I can remember her name. Do you remember her, Jose? 4 or 5 years ago, she was active member. Was it Christina?
Christina was going to join today, but she's in the mental health care.
It's not Christina. It's she's older. Ping me on LinkedIn, Clifford, and I'll connect you with her. She was in our community for a while, and she focused specifically on branding and marketing and product in the space. And I'll see if I can connect you guys.
Is it Humaira?
Is it? I'm sorry, you wanna?
Humaira or something like that.
No?
No?
It's like I feel it starts with like an M. Like I can see her face. I just can't see
Martin.
Martine. No, I don't think
Well,
so.
let's offline that.
But we'll figure it out. Yeah,
Kind
later.
of- Any other questions before we land?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome, guys. So let's keep it going, and let's bring today's session to a close. Yeah, guys. So one of the principles here is that we leverage collective intelligence, collective knowledge, collective experience, and for each of us to share, our tidbits of knowledge that we have, and be able to bring, like our shards of the crystals together, and then boom, we have like this mega crystal, and we're like, oh, look at this crazy thing. And I love these sessions, right? I learned something from each and every one of you guys. You guys have incredible talents and experience and skills and knowledge, and collectively, just like with this project, is how we can grow and how we can level up. So today's upload, let us talk about one thing that you got out of today's chat that was super valuable. And and I'll model that. This project was super illuminating. And the thing that I really took away from the project was, despite all of the challenges and the messiness, and most projects will have messiness, it really allowed for us to showcase how powerful this approach can be, how talented our community is, and how through just about any challenge, solutions can be developed and we can move forward if we come together as a team. And I'm grateful for that. And let's open up the floor.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what I said to Jose yesterday. If it wasn't for MDC, we wouldn't have this relationship and this connection that we have now. So that's why I'm very grateful for how MDC went, because regardless of how, the good parts, the not so good parts, messy stuff, it's about, for me, the most meaningful part was the relationship building, and then of course the value that we're going to use later on for the up and coming projects in the community. Wants to go next?
Yeah.
I can go next. My takeaway today is that Web 2 can transition into Web 3. I know that you guys said this like early on. I've tried to implement it and failed at it. So just to see what you guys did is giving me a different perspective of how to lead a project like that differently, and I appreciate that. I'm complete.
Scola, the magic is collaboration. That's my takeaway. Great reconnecting today. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm curious. Just, it could be one thing. It could be simple. It could be complex. Like Pape, Jersey, what's the takeaway even from the project? Daniel?
My takeaway was the structure that was used. So how, like you said before, people started working on it. There was a lot of planning. I mean, there were a lot of meetings I remember attending just about, oh, hey, how long is this part of the project going to take? Who's going to be doing it? What does success look like? That was my biggest takeaway, just understanding the workflow, seeing all the behind the scenes before actually starting, I guess you could say, working on the creative. Like my part of the project for doing the videos, those were like way in the end after all the pre-planning was done. So that was it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Alejandro, you're on stage for your upload shown. Anybody who wants to, I'm just bringing people on stage if they want to. Mute yourself.
Okay, I could go. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Ferdinand, did you want to go?
Oh, Clifford, go.
Well, I just wanted to say that one thing that I'm taking away is to embrace the mess that it's kind of inherently built into projects that you work on, but to have boundaries while you go through the mess. I kind of think back to Bruce Lee and the notion of flowing with the water instead of trying to fight the current.
Okay, so I think I can go.
There you are. Go for it.
Hey,
again, brother. It's good to see you.
Yeah, me too. So I want to say that to me, what I'm taking out of this is lots of inspiration on how you can be authentic and how you can fight for your ideas and for what you believe. And then Jose, to me, you're such a big inspiration because one of the things is that you are yourself and you find this tribe of people that actually like believe in your ideas. And I think that with this product that you showed today is like proof that your ideas work. And so I'm honestly like, I admire your work. I admire the community that you have put together. And I think you're one of the leaders of the creative community. So thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro.
I can go next. Okay, so my takeaway would be same with Marlene, which is what is it? Oh yeah. Oh no, I lost it. But yeah, challenges that you guys shared, and then I specifically would want to hear more about the thing that Jose mentioned about pre-planning and stuff and getting everybody collaborating, and then absolutely the templates and presentations, because I kind of, when I got the whole core thing, is that I keep making stuff for Figma and then Miro, so those are different ones, and then because they can take away the Figma file afterwards because they're gonna have their own copy and such. So basically, yeah, embracing the flow thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Amit.
Yeah. So my takeaway is Web3 is chaos, right? It's chaos right now. It's a vision to, take the whole world to another level. And we are the explorers right now. So we are allowed to make mistakes, but we are exploring, we are finding ways, there are right, wrong, whatever it is, but we are setting the standards for the people, for the explorers who will be coming after us. So I think this project speaks a lot on that context, right? Like no artist did their masterpiece on the first go, right? But the first piece led to the masterpiece. That's how this project is.
That's a very good insight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
my takeaway, I think, Jose, you said something about the importance of the frameworks to help the project move forward, but I also can see like that we cannot rely on frameworks to move projects forward as well, because they're just frameworks. They help us, but it's not everything. And I feel like the human aspect and having clear communication, as you guys did, because it does show up that you were open, and as Ivana was saying, the retrospective and everything that comes with flow, like that humanity that used with the frameworks is a superpower. Like I was sharing with Jose that you don't always have to use the columns. Like core is just a way of thinking. It's a perspective of seeing, of viewing a problem and finding solutions and finding data and aligning that. So it's just like not relying completely on the frameworks and relying on your intuition as well, and as well as your humanity is something that I can see that happened in this project. And also, I really love this story about the Helvetica. That was amazing insight, and seeing how you guys came up to that conclusion, and seeing how collaboratively it was with the Figma sessions, building a Stylescape, like with a lot of people. It sounds like a super fun part, because Stylescape is one of the most fun part of the project, and doing it like with people has to be something amazing, because once you go on into Pinterest or Dribble or anything, people start finding something, and I can imagine how creative it can become. So that's something that I look forward to experience once in a lifetime as well. So yeah, I'm popping, I'm complete.
Yeah.
And doing it with people that you love and respect too. Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's the best part.
So I just want to jump in real quick and just say I'm really glad to see you guys doing real work. I think it's a super important part of putting all this together, and to continue to evolve what was core and now the system. And I just want to say that in my I work as a Apple consultant, and some of my clients are really starting to talk about creating NFT characters, and then creating universes for those characters, and movies and animations and things like that. Like I forwarded an article to Jose, and hopefully he can distribute it, but like the movement that starts with a character in NFT and then breathing life into it, and what the opportunity is around that, is just something like I've never seen in the creative industry in my career. So I think that you guys are at the leading edge, and we should really embrace it and build our skills. And you know, that's I think the big idea for me today is like, we're at the cutting edge of something that's going to change the world and be much bigger than I think anybody really thinks right now. And for that, I think that thanks Jose and Keone for leading us into this great space.
Hey, Daniel, here's a question for you, because this is something that I've been playing with on Twitter. Would you guys like a session where I break down like some of the more successful Web3 projects, like Moonbirds, or you know, like breaking down Bored Ape Yacht Club and, you know, their otherworld deeds and how they're building out, you know, like property in the space, or, you know, platforms that have recently launched and are building out like these new experiences in Web3 and what that looks like?
I think I would love it, and I think it's important. And I've seen other like wireframes where it's like, this is where you need to start, right? And it's like you go through the different courses to get a better understanding, right? I know there's something associated with that with the future, right? Back in the day. So that's really what would be helpful for me, is if if I could follow along, because this, you know, it is really complicated and it has, you know, multiple elements to it. So, you know, I watched this video, but there's like 3 or 5 spurs that comes off of that, right? And those spurs connect to 3 or 5, you know, and it's just this whole universe of knowledge that we have to get through to just build our foundation to work from.
Yeah, that I can totally see that. Okay, that's really great feedback, and thank you for that, Daniel.
Let's go, Keone. I can't wait.
Yeah, man, we'll make it happen. I'm doing something of the sort already. But yeah, I would be happy to put something like that together, because it directly correlates with a lot of the stuff that I'm discussing in the NFT lab as it exists now. So
one of the DAOs I'm working with, the founder has a Moonbird, and she has very interesting access to stuff because of that, just because of the NFT.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of the folks that I'm working with now, and you know, like last week I did a breakdown of the Goblin NFT, and so a lot of the folks that I'm working with, they own Pop, which is one of the most interesting NFT projects that I've seen. They own Moonbirds, they're members of FWB, you know, so they're in a lot of the spaces where the folks that are focused on building these experiences for the brands. What does retail look like? You know, those are the big questions that I have. In addition to, you know, what are the fundamental principles behind this space? The pivot is real, and it is an evolution from a marketing standpoint, from a branding standpoint, and from an online experience standpoint. You can tell when, you know, the experience has shifted from a Web3 focused, you know, a digital experience, as opposed to someone that is still looking and building like we're in 2020. So yeah, you know, there is a shift, and I think there's a big opportunity to highlight some of those opportunities for you guys.
And it's a deeper discussion about Web3 in general and about the system. We'll do it in the next session, where we'll talk a little bit about where are we and what's next. You know, I'll leave us with this, just in terms of my experience in general in Web3 and talking to people within it. The fundamental transition that's happening, if you look at if you divide the world into, you know, what's been done in the traditional kind of financial markets, a lot of the work that we do as designers for companies or for, you know, for whatever type of client, even a small business, etc. It's all tied to commerce. It's all tied to making money. If you look at Web3 and you look at the ecosystems that you have to create in the communities, you have to create your own economies and your own exchange. So it's like if you were to design a, let's say, new e-commerce platform, instead of it just being, driving sales and building funnels to sell products, and you take Visa and MasterCard. When you start building in Web3, or you start looking at the shift, there is a radical shift of like where you're actually potentially creating your own kind of way of value exchange inside of it, in addition to the product, in addition to, so it's a shift that is what I call a triple layer shift, where it's both who the customers or the users or the community is, what the value is that you're exchanging, and the mechanism for value exchange, all are being designed at the same time. And one of the reasons why I've always been very adamant about the role of designers, and the fundamental thing, the secret, the thing that I should probably write about and tell people, is that the reason why I've undertaken, for the last 10 years now, like this education role, is that our role as designers is more powerful than just creating the visuals or just creating, the design. It's also doing the strategic work. The third step, and this is what we're entering, and Web3 does allow a lot for us to do that, but we can still do it at corporations and at businesses, is to fundamentally affect the ethics and the reason behind why these businesses are being creative around the topics of sustainability and humanity. Business world has been one of consumerism and capitalism that has created the world that we live in. And if we're to survive on the planet, we need to make a shift to new ways of doing business and practices. And that is a very hard shift to make when there is such an existing system that is controlled at the end of the day by those who control, money. So without going into it and getting too political, let's wrap it up. We did our upload. Let's just do music and no cookies, and
yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you.